Welcome to an upload of Steel Talk and Iron Responses.
Everybody asking for justice. The hotel did offer me money. They did, to pay for my daughter's funeral. I told them thanks, but no thanks. What I do want, and money can't buy this, I want justice. Show me the video of my child walking into that freezer.
Now that you got, do we cover all of the points, or did we cover the sister? Oh boy.
I still want to talk about that. We can cover that now.
Okay.
We can go into that now. The sister, Keeneka Jenkins.
Right. And Elder, did you have a question, or you just listening?
No, I came to tell you hello. That's
Oh, okay.
But it's all right.
Let me greet you appropriately.
No, you're doing all
How
right.
are you doing?
I saw the colors
scene.
and I said,
The colors. Yeah.
okay,
I don't take without it.
I understand.
So, and how have you been? Good.
Yeah, I've seen you quite a bit on YouTube.
Oh.
And with another.
Oh. So you're familiar with the group?
I'm not familiar with the general, but I'm familiar with, as they say, consciousness.
Impressive. Okay. Thank you. So we're getting ready to talk about the unfortunate sister that was found in the freezer. Oh, you didn't hear anything? I thought this was on a lot of social media.
I know it's online, crazy.
Okay.
Facebook and things like
Yeah,
that.
it's the story's kind of breaking over the last 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate.
Without cable and Wi-Fi.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, dark up and a lot of things, the storm and everything, but you know, I have us not too, what happened?
Savvy. You got your savvy with it?
He said what happened to his sister?
It was a bunch of young ladies who were kind of getting together to have a party at a hotel that it's looking like one of the young ladies that was in the group invited some young men that there seemed to be a guy, one of the guys liked the young lady that didn't like him. And it's seeming like somehow, well, she was seen smoking, so she was smoking her own herb. But it seemed to be some other drug involved, or they're trying to give the impression she was drinking so much that she was unable to really interact in a way to consent to sexual activity. So it's boiling down to that a guy raped her. And now they're saying possibly her friend that was helping her throw the party knew the guy and even knew that the rape was taking place, and they didn't take appropriate action. So it's not a pleasant story. But it's all over to me because they were recording themselves. They were doing live stream
They
too.
were live on Facebook.
Right. And then the next day they were talking about what each person did.
They were on social media speaking on
Yeah.
talking about
A real life case.
Bills for money or things like that if it was set up. And even one of the young girls saying, I didn't set my friend up to kill her, things of that nature.
Yeah, so it's just, where is this going to go? I heard that there was an arrest made, or several people over there. Did you hear anything? You know, the latest? Okay. I think there was arrest made of all four of the people that were involved. The story is developing as it comes. But there was a specific. What do you think about it when you first heard it?
When I heard about it, it just seemed like, something else was going crazy on social media. But once I actually got a chance to look at it, read some of the messages and things, it just seemed like, a lot of these kids are just ignorant, just living, they just out here just living, and then it's not really, like, the kids don't really have a real direction or someone that's over them giving them the proper information. And if they are, they're caught up in the smoke screen of what's happening in life. And they're just doing whatever. They're drinking. They're 16, 15 years old, smoking, drinking.
Yeah.
So I think just the environment and just the mentality is like on a very low vibration. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To the point where like one of the girls, because I remember I bring myself back to being 15 and 14 and 16. Trying to bring girls to the house, and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm sure we've done things in the past that wasn't that cool, and you can look back at it like, we never killed anyone, but it's like it got to the point where it's gotten to that level. It just shows like kids are becoming less desensitized. and it's like they're not as someone's not there to really watch what's going on, and these kids are growing up real fast. That's kind of what take I got on watching and listening and reading a lot of these transcripts and things like that.
Yeah, I mean the parts I've seen, and I get 99% of what you said. The only part, I mean, this is how does someone die? Because all that stuff that's adolescents been going through that cloud of not knowing what and being with the wrong one and getting in a fight and da. We've been doing that since human beings been here. But just the killing thing always is like, why does someone's life have to end? And now there was a sister, I forgot her name, but she supposedly solved the case, and she spelled it out in a way that seemed like it could be feasible. But but if someone's, I prefer believing this. No one came there seeking to murder anybody. I know that for a fact. That wasn't the goal. But I think, unfortunately, and again, it's just pure speculation, I think at least one, if not maybe two or more of the women there may have been either, I don't want to say okay, but may have been knowingly aware of that sister being sexually assaulted or raped and not taking either the action to stop it or seeing the high likelihood of it possibly happening and not say, no, this is my sister, come on, nope, y'all not doing that. And
the fear.
Yeah.
A lot of these kids fear probably guys coming in and they're probably a little older and things like that.
I guess it
in a
could
situation, and then the girls being afraid to not either be cool with the situation, don't want to seem like the oddball. Because some of the messages I was reading, one of the things that I read was, the guy asked, like, are you girls thoughts? Are you girls, like, girls that are trying to get on and do certain things? So it's like, especially I know young girls, they want to be, they want to be cool. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be the one that's messing everything up and, the one that's not able to get down with the program in a sense like that. So situations can get out of hand,
Right, I just think basic instinct. So, and I know I get seen giving women a lot of credit, but I think they have attributes that if men get, they don't get them until later. Now, I think women are more intuitive that way.
Yeah,
I think
little girls.
I think young girls are more intuitive than young boys. I think they knew there was a likelihood of something bad happening. You couldn't tell me in their gut. It's like, this don't look good. Because I think there was an interplay between, there was one guy from, if all of these versions or some of these versions are true, one guy expressing an interest in the young lady who turned out to be the victim. And she clearly was not reciprocal. And that seemed to go back and forth. And there was something from these stories that she was somehow manipulated to not even complying, to being in a position where she could no longer disagree or fight physically or fend herself off, either because she's been chemically drugged or because the overpowering at that point. But it seems like the way it's being said, and there's one or two that had enhanced audio, the little things that's being said is giving the impression that they knew something bad was happening. And then one of them said, no, I told you, as if they even said that this might happen. And for
like
nobody...
the wrong crowd of guys. I remember
but then stop it. Then it's no longer a party right now. And
man, in those environments, the way kids are, the way people are very impressionable, man. People are very afraid of speaking out. A lot of times they just allow things to happen as opposed to speaking out. And it's when things get bad, that's when everybody's like, oh my God. People sometimes don't even see it. They may think like, it could go bad, but they don't realize how severe it can get.
Or the other part, and I hope this is not something that exists among our women, because if it is, man, we got work to do. I hope the thought process wasn't, well, the worst that could happen to her is they will, rape her, and that be okay. Because, we could be in a culture of rape right now. Because date rape is so underreported, and women put themselves through so many, mind traumas like, oh, maybe it was my fault, or maybe if I didn't, or I shouldn't have asked him to come upstairs, or I shouldn't have let him drive me. Women get victimized by sexual crime and then go through the second victimization by their own beating up on themselves, like they did something wrong, like they didn't have a right to say no because they took the ride home.
Yeah.
So we gotta be careful to not set our women up in that way, because then that can almost become cultural. Well, it happened to me, so okay, this is her turn. So all right, we'll just come and get her later. And again, I'm speculating to the umpteenth degree, but that's what I'm worried about, because I know nobody came in there thinking anybody would get murdered. But were they okay? But okay, well, if they do her, then that's just what's going to happen. And if they were okay with that, that's not a good look at all.
Just you yourself, when you're hearing the story and just hearing about her body being found in the freezer, her being 16, and seeing her mother's reaction.
19.
Oh,
19.
She was 19.
Yeah, the victim was.
Okay.
Yeah, I first heard 18. The last thing I heard, and it seemed from the official source, was 19.
Well, what's your take on this? Just where we're at, and just to actually something like that to inspire. You know what I'm saying? Just to see.
Yeah. Well,
this day and age online.
Yeah, and then like let me say this now. This is what's so interesting. The first part of that, I didn't have trouble with. It was young people being young people. I mean, she looked kind of interesting with the hair and the shades, but they young people. Yeah. And the tone, it wasn't a bad tempo. They were talking, the tone was, they was playing Who's That Facebook. I didn't hear any kind of violence, any kind of, even, the B's, some girls, are you B? Yeah, come here, B. What? Shut up, B. It wasn't even that kind of, there was no level of aggression in their communication or any kind of hostility. So to go from that to then have a young lady set up to be raped and then killed, I didn't see that potential in their interplay. Now, again, if the accounts be accurate, yes, she told her mom she was, I think, going bowling and then going to a party after. And they end up going to a hotel, renting a room, smoking some weed. But again, like I started out, earlier, how many of y'all ain't break the rules? Y'all got some short damn memories. I know I did some reckless stuff, and with a mother and father in the house, there wasn't no safety to stop everything. If you got a hard head, you gonna find something to get up into. You're gonna say you went left and you went right, because you're gonna try to get out of that trouble, and all. So it just happens. And thank goodness, most of us grow out of it. You know what? I'm gonna take a quick break. My mom is being helped across the street.
News4SA.com says Chicago teenager found dead in hotel walk-in freezer.
As we get younger, we gotta take better care.
A 19-year-old Chicago woman has been found dead in a suburban hotel freezer. The Cook County Medical Examiner office says Keeneka Jenkins was pronounced dead Sunday at Crown Plaza Hotel in Rosemont. It says her cause of death is not yet confirmed, although an autopsy has been completed. Rosemont police says hotel staff discovered Jenkins inside a walk-in freezer. They say she was last seen at a party at a hotel early Saturday. She was reported missing Saturday afternoon. The woman's mother, Teresa Martin, told Chicago Tribune that police told her Jenkins apparently let herself into the freezer while drunk. Martin said that if her daughter was drunk, she would have had difficulty opening the heavy freezer door and would have realized she was entering an elevator or a hotel entrance.
Yeah, that part I heard too. And what's interesting, I'm trying to figure out what could be the police's agenda or intention, because if that didn't happen, and if that's the story they're trying to give the family. But I also heard on one of the YouTube uploads that they claim to have viewed the videotape of the woman's daughter stumbling, not being able to really walk because of, they say, drunkenness or definitely some level of intoxication. And she opened it up, they said, and walked in. They said they saw that video. Now, if that video doesn't exist, and the family has proof that that was the story that they gave, that automatically starts an inquiry into, is this a setup? And what are they trying to do? Now, did they not want to be bothered with it? This open shut case where they just, lazy investigators? Or some people are floating around, organ harvesting. Did they come upon the situation and catch her in the latter stages of life, and maybe still, and then realize or recently died? Because you can take the temperature of a body and tell if a person is recently deceased.
It's happened in one of the most violent cities, Chicago, as well.
Yeah, and that's the backdrop. All of that violence, and how much of that is truly gang related, or how much could that be another source? Because if you got this fresh source of young bodies that you now can just take all of their organs from on a regular basis, on the black market, you'd be surprised how much organs are going through. So there are other incentives to there being some really diabolical things going on. But would they have to have, then that was separated from the party. That would be an agency or some force, some law enforcement force came on the scene and created a situation where they can begin to hold on to organs in a way that they've been doing them before. Either through violence, so this wasn't a regular gunshot violence in this instance, but this was something else that they can maybe swoop. And I know that could be a stretch, but I'm prepared to look at all these different options until we get to the bottom of this.
From reading the article, it seems like she did this to herself, in a sense.
That's what they're trying to portray. Yep, that's what it seems like. What they're trying to portray. And also, let me say this: I saw the mother in a few uploads. The mother, as of a few hours ago, before I came down, said she has not set up a GoFundMe fund. So the mother of the young lady who was a victim says she has not set up a GoFundMe fund. So if you're seeing these things pop up, as of this taping, which is Friday afternoon, she has not put one up. She did say she will be putting one up, and at that time she would definitely be interested in anyone who would want to help support her through this very difficult time. So again, if someone is up right now, Friday afternoon, or if this is up tonight, if you're looking at this, do not just automatically start giving your hard-earned funds with a good intent, but you might be feeding it to someone who does not have the intentions of getting that money to the family. So be mindful as you seek to support her and support her family through this trauma.
What advice do you give to young kids out there that who might be telling their mom one thing and then doing something else, or moving a certain way? You know what I mean? Because a lot of times when you're young, you don't really think nothing bad is gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I don't think that's gonna change. So I would take it the other direction. Well, I would give the basis. Young people get good advice all the time. I can add some more to that. Stay in school, listen to mommy, don't do drugs. They hear all that stuff already. And I don't mean to be flip about that. That is good advice. But I go back to be young is an element of youth, especially if you're in any kind of urban environment. There's an element of youth that's going to have a segment of recklessness to it. You're gonna sneak into things. You're gonna break into things. You're gonna, borrow the family car when you're not supposed to. You're going to do stuff against the house rules. It's just part of that process. What I would advise is on the other side, the parents, and unfortunately too often it's a parent. There's not two. There's one that's holding everything down, and they're doing their best. But to keep a household, you got to work. That's taking you outside the house. And if you don't have a support system, then that young person is already in an environment where there's a lot more room to experiment because the supervision isn't there. So for them, and I know your plate is full already, so it's almost not even right to have to give them something else to do. But they have to be additionally vigilant. They have to see what items are coming into their home, both for a female or male child, especially a male child. Are they coming in with new sneakers, new jackets, new items that you're not purchasing, and you know that they are not working, or if their work is part-time, it cannot cover the kind of expenses they are exorbitantly now adorning themselves with. So if you're allowing things to take place under your radar, you have to own more of the responsibility of policing your child's environment, and that might be when they are out. And yeah, it may not feel good, but check for drug paraphernalia. Check for certain signs of gang affiliation. And if you've missed that and that has developed, that you got to sit this child down. You got to put some things on hold, because if you don't catch them early enough, you can lose your child to this tsunami of drugs in an over-sexualized society that constantly preys on teenagers. So it's so I would give the advice to them: be more vigilant, talk to your child, listen to them, find out what's important in their world, and interact with that school. The school a lot of times can be the first place where the red flags. Absenteeism in school is always a sign that has to have attention. How they feel about school. Bullying is still an issue. And if this went down the way they're saying, this could have been a soft kind of bullying. If one young lady maneuvered another into being in a situation where she was sexually assaulted or raped, that, if not an aggressive bullying, that was a manipulative bullying when you put someone else in a position to be harmed, just so you can gain favor or gain some kind of benefit. So to answer the question, yeah, not so much the young person, just be smart. And it's hard to be at 16, 17, 18. Your hormones are bouncing off the wall. So it is the parents. The parents have to really do diligent with your full plate, but you got to know where your children are. You got to have ways to verify that. You got to know their friends, or at least know their friends' parents. So the other parent could have been the first person you call. Hey, my daughter was with your daughter. Did she reach out to you? Give me some background information. I'm trying to put this together. My daughter's missing. So at least it gives you a network instead of having to interact directly with the police force that in many instances do not have our best interests in mind. And I even say this on the flip side. There was an interaction recorded with the police from one of the maybe it's got to be 20 or 30 uploads about it. I've never seen something this covered so much on YouTube. But there was one interaction with the police that I have to give the police points for their professional interaction with the young ladies that were in that precinct. I believe they were seeking to put bail together, but they was there to monitor. And it was questioning, they was checking, and the law enforcement personnel that I observed seemed to handle the situation with professionalism and did his best to answer as many questions as he could. That was the impression I got. So, I like to be balanced. When they're acting like beasts and they're taking the lives of our young people, they need to be removed. But when they do what that profession calls for, I have no problem with acknowledging that as well.
Staying tuned in with all the updates and everything like that. What are some of the best sources to go to get information?
I think
Chicago news and things like that.
Yeah, now I know this is going to sound a bit self-serving, but they need to Kia Light Productions, Black News 102, Sarnetta TV, Hip Hop is Real. They need to come to the underground source. Brother Rich, the Red Pill, the Blue Pill, Supernova Sloan, Brother Reggie, Dr. Isa. We are the ones out here. Hopefully I can be on that list that giving you information, because we're going to see the same things you see, but we are going to hit it from an analytical perspective. And I know when I speak, I'm going to let you know what I have discovered. I'm going to let you know what's opinion. I'm never going to put anything forward that I have not at least done a little of diligence. And if I haven't, I'm going to let you know, accept this as hearsay to this degree. So yeah, they need to come to us. And we are going to do our best to help them sort through what is a lot of misinformation that's being presented at times.
And what's your opinion on Facebook and a lot of these internet social sites being the main developing source to all of these?
Yeah, it's
you don't have to go to too much. You go directly on these people's pages. We're in the time now where crime is happening and we can watch the person committing the crime in front of us. Assaults all day, we see assault crimes happening, and we don't have to go to news source per se to actually get the news.
I mean, there is not a rule to measure this, man. This stuff is unprecedented.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, I mean, we're seeing a crime victim, in moments before the crime is committed.
Yeah.
We're seeing all the possible perpetrators of the crime.
Last moments of life and things.
The crime scene we're seeing. all this is almost real within hours.
Yeah, real time.
I mean, a grand jury takes weeks to get to stuff, and they're the ones deciding on whether. So we're just sitting home, and then after that, people are typing, giving many incriminating information in many instances. So the impact of this is going to be spellbinding, and if people don't become a quick study, a lot of things are going to be judged first in the public opinion. But this stuff this can hold weight in court. This stuff is admissible. They are willingly providing this. This is not under duress. That's what they tell you. One of the first things, you have the right to remain silent. A lot of times being silent is your best asset until things are sorted out. Not even that being silent as opposed to lying, but being silent, because even when you tell the truth, it can be misrepresented if you gave it under certain circumstances that would be harmful to you. So they're just giving that right away, and just out of their youth and their emotional immaturity, saying and doing things that is really setting them up to if there are innocent parties, that's going to be very hard to decipher them by the time this stuff gets all messy and mushy.
And what does it say how crime is going to be, basically how people are going to be judged in the future? When it comes to crime and certain things, like, do you think the rules have changed?
That's not new. I think for the last, I remember I've been hearing signs of like 10 years ago, folks was saying, yo, or even I go back to Griff. Griff was the first person I heard say this. He said, Facebook is your do-it-yourself FBI file. And that's what it is. Places, times, associations, opinions, views, anything they do. No, they ain't gotta put surveillance on you. All they gotta do is open up your page.
See your last location.
And I think at the end of the day, that's what it is. And those, especially those doing the work in the conscious community, if they do not interact with this vehicle, Facebook, and other social mediums in a responsible way, I'm talking about those who are just doing the work and not caught up in no craziness, just doing some straight up doing the work is hard enough. You ain't gotta be aligning yourself with Al Qaeda and all these other crazy folk, but they trying to clump you just doing your regular hey, now what's going on, regular freedom fighting work for your people, they're trying to outlaw. And I'm talking about civil unrest is within the realm of what could be coming. So you do have a right to have protests. You do have a right to assemble. You do have a right, if you're in a free society, which they're constantly pushing this as, to voice your complaints, especially when segments of that society are being set upon and murdered wholesale. So and I proudly state myself as one of the individuals that's doing this work. I mean, I do push the envelope, and I am willing to speak truth to power, and I know there are prices to pay for that. And but I'm gonna do it. You're gonna do it. Brothers like Sarnetta is doing it. Brothers like Brother Rich, the Blue Pill, Red Pill, Supernova Sloan. I just want to see us come more together. And I'd be so glad when we can, because if we can be a unifying force, and we can launch an investigation. Once we find the results, we all run what the truth is, and let our people get the truth from us. But too often it's just so much our energies don't coalesce. But that's getting better.
All my wrists is frogs. All my